Think about your day for a second. From your headphones to your smartwatch, your keyboard to your car stereo, Bluetooth is that invisible thread connecting, well, pretty much everything. It really does feel like magic, doesn't it? But it's actually some of the most clever engineering you use every single day. So, how does this invisible connection actually work? Let's get into it.
We totally take it for granted, right? But this technology lets billions of devices just talk to each other. They speak this silent, universal language. No wires, no fuss, just seamless coordination.
Okay, but that brings up a huge question. We're surrounded by invisible radio signals all the time. So in a world that's this noisy, how does your phone manage to have a crystal clear private chat with your headphones and not the ones the person next to you is wearing?
All right, so to really get how Bluetooth works, we've got to talk about the number one problem its creators had to solve: radio interference. It's the biggest hurdle for pretty much any wireless communication. See, Bluetooth has to operate on what's basically a shared public highway for radio waves. It's called the 2.4 gigahertz band. And it's not just for Bluetooth. It's got your Wi-Fi router, your microwave oven, heck, even some cordless phones and baby monitors are on there. It is an incredibly crowded place. Yeah, that pretty much nails it, right? With all these different gadgets yelling for attention in the exact same space, how does the quiet little voice of Bluetooth ever get heard? How does it not just get drowned out by all that noise?
Well, the first part of the solution is actually kind of brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of just shouting louder and adding to the noise, Bluetooth was designed to use very, very low power. It whispers. This does two amazing things. One, it saves a ton of battery life, and two, it's not creating more interference for everything else. But just whispering isn't quite enough. And this is where we get to the really clever part. This is Bluetooth's most ingenious feature, the trick that lets it have that clear conversation, even inside that crowded elevator we talked about.
So, what's the big secret? It all comes down to this one number, 1,600. And what is that? Well, it's a speed, a mind-bogglingly fast one. That's it, 1,600 times per second. That's how often a Bluetooth connection can jump from one frequency to another. It never stays in one spot, it is constantly on the move, always looking for a clear channel. Now, this fancy trick has a pretty technical name: frequency hopping spread spectrum, or FHSS for short. But the idea is simple. Instead of trying to fight and overpower the noise on one channel, it just gracefully hops to another one that's quiet. So check this out. Let's say your Wi-Fi is just blasting away on one part of the band. Bluetooth, it couldn't care less. It sends a tiny piece of data, then, boom, it hops to a new clear frequency, sends the next piece, and just keeps doing that over and over. If one of its hops happens to land on a busy channel, who cares? The next one, just a tiny fraction of a second later, is almost guaranteed to be clear. And get this, the story of where this idea came from is just wild. It has nothing to do with Silicon Valley. It was co-invented during World War II by the famous Hollywood actress Hedy Lamarr. She helped patent it as a secret communication system to guide torpedoes without letting them get jammed by the enemy. Just think about that. The tech connecting your headphones today started out as a top-secret military invention. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so that frequency hopping technique solves the noise problem. Amazing, right? But that's only half the battle. How do your devices make sure they're only talking to each other? And how do they keep that conversation private so no one can listen in? Well, it all comes down to a kind of digital secret handshake.
You've done this a million times, right? It's called pairing. But what you're really doing when you pair two devices for the first time is you're telling them, hey, you two can trust each other. You're creating a private bond that they'll remember from now on.
And that handshake happens in a few lightning-fast steps. First, the devices swap their unique addresses, kind of like trading phone numbers. Then, and this is crucial, they create and share secret encryption keys so they can scramble their conversation. And finally, they just confirm what features they both support to make sure everything's going to work smoothly.
And modern Bluetooth is packed with security features to keep your data safe. It can hide your device's true identity to stop you from being tracked. It uses powerful encryption to make your data totally unreadable to anyone trying to eavesdrop. And it can even be set to only talk to devices that it already knows and trusts.
Now, over the years, Bluetooth has had to evolve. The engineers realized that streaming a constant flow of high-quality music to your headphones is a totally different job than, say, getting a quick heart rate update from your fitness tracker every few seconds. So the technology had to split. And that's why we have two main flavors of Bluetooth today. You've got Bluetooth Classic, That's the one for the heavy lifting, the continuous data streaming you need for headphones and speakers. And then you've got Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE. This one is all about efficiency, sending tiny bits of data in short bursts, which uses almost no power.
And I'm not kidding, BLE was a complete game changer. It is the reason we have all these tiny wearable gadgets, our smartwatches, fitness trackers, all that stuff that can run for weeks or even months on a single tiny battery. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you start to see it. This brilliant, invisible network that's woven all through our lives. It's not loud, it's not power hungry. It's quiet, it's super efficient, and it's all built on some truly remarkable engineering that just makes our world work a little better.
And that's really the core idea here, isn't it? Small power, big impact. Bluetooth is all about being efficient. By just whispering and cleverly hopping around all the noise, it's had this absolutely massive impact on how we live and interact with technology every single day. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. Bluetooth proved to all of us that whispering can be way more powerful than shouting. So as our world gets even more crowded with connected devices, you've got to wonder, what's the next generation of this kind of smart, low-power whispering tech going to make possible?